Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back for some Mob Psycho 100. Getting into episode 11 today. Hope you all having a really good week, a really good day wherever you're at. It's been a busy one for me. I'm getting ready to go down to Florida for some vacation with the family. Gonna be doing some pool chilling, maybe drinking some pina coladas, you know, all that good kind of stuff. Maybe we'll go to Disney, we'll see. I've been to Disney quite a bit throughout my life. My family has like a little timeshare down in Florida near Orlando, so it's always been our vacation spot growing up. So I've been to Disney and Universal probably way too many times. So we'll see what we end up doing. Let's recap points from last time. We gave MVP to maybe REIGEN. We don't know. At the end of that little cliff or that post-credit scene with the boss or the head of the Claw organization coming in, and it looks a lot like REIGEN, which will be a hilarious plot twist here. But if it was REIGEN, we gave him MVP. Best moment we gave to Mob versus the illusion Scar and kind of the mental battle that they had around the illusion. I thought that was a really, really cool moment. And then the funniest moment we gave to Dimple Sama with him tricking the Claw that tames the spirits as pets, and you know, him sprinting for him and him getting all scared and then falling and all that good stuff. If y'all want to see more details on why we chose those ratings or want to see a little bit more in-depth review, check out the last episode's review section or stick to the end of this episode for the review section where we go a little bit more in depth on my thoughts and feelings, a little bit of analysis, etc. If y'all are new here or aren't subscribed and you want to follow on for more, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Helps out the channel a lot. It means a lot to me. But either way, I appreciate y'all being here to watch the Mob with me today. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
何か他の用事ができたなら知らせろよ。何のために携帯持たせたと思ってんだ。ここらで大丈夫。
Okay, so it's looking like it is REIGEN.
お客さん、余計にこんな。何？
He's sussing out the taxi driver.
あいつこんなところで何やってんだ？
Yo, Mob Psycho intro is about.
大丈夫だよ、リツ。多分こっちで合ってるから。うん、ごめん、リツ。僕が探検しようなんて言ったから。それより、なんとか戻る方法を考えなきゃね。あ、そうだ。リツ？理科の授業で習ったんだ。苔が生えてる方が北だって。苔は日当たりの悪い場所に生えるからね。ほら。
That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that.
北に歩けば川に出るから。さっきバーベキューした場所まで戻れるよ。行こう、兄さん。
Damn, Ritsu's so smart, bro.
気がついたようだね。
ここは
大丈夫かい？どうやって負けたか覚えてる？
全く覚えてない。
He didn't really lose, just got, it was kind of a stalemate.
大丈夫かな？脳にダメージとか。リツ。
Oh, this is our first time seeing each other again. Give him a hug, dude. Aww.
無事だね。兄さん、すぐ帰ろう。
Aww.
ね、花沢君。
Mom's such a good brother, man.
どうなっているのか。この部屋では力が発揮できないんだよ。
Ooh, interesting.
こんな壁、穴開けられるけどさ。
でも大丈夫だよ。リツが一緒にいるんだから。リツは頭がいいんだ。
Yeah.
超能力がないと何もできない僕とは違って、何でも工夫して解決できるんだよ。
Oh, dude, I love this.
やらなくたって。
Dude, this can make me cry, bro.
尊敬だよ。本当に尊敬してる。ずるい。謝らせてもくれないなんて。そんなの僕だって。僕だって。
Oh, I love it, dude. That's amazing.
桜井君の封印部屋は相変わらず素晴らしいね。
当然だ。それよりこれからどうする？今回の侵入者を新たな幹部として起用するのか？
待てよおめえら。逸材をガラクタにする気かよ。あの中学生グループはまとめて本部に引き抜く。
人員の編成も含めて第7支部の決定権は私にあるの。
連れて行く。特にあの学ラン。ピーンときたぜ。
派遣研修生がでかい面するな。俺も優しくはない。
I don't know. I think Show's pretty strong.
同僚が倒されて悔しいから ずいぶん仲良し組だったんだな。
やめろ桜井。
本部はもっと険悪なんだよ。俺はここのが居心地いいんだぜ。
近頃のガキはどいつもこいつも。
The psychic abilities with the sword is so cool, dude.
おい、何者だ貴様。さてはあんのようだ。仲間か。おい、人数集めろ。
おい、何の話だ。中で何が起きてる。
動くんじゃない。不審な奴め、名を名乗れ。
おお、そうだったな。
ちゅうか、来やがった。
あ、しまったな。名刺を切らしてたんだ。中で何か事件が起きているのか。
夜だ。得体の知れない奴に教えることは何もない。
何かあったらすぐ俺に連絡が入るはずだが、何も聞いてないぞ。
それってどういう
Is he just tricking them? Is he not actually the boss? Oh no.
君ら超能力使える？
態度もやたら偉そう。
He's acting pretty important.
待てこら侵入者め。やめとけ。もしかしたらこの人。
俺は部下に仕事の話があって来ただけだ。
部下。もしかしてこの第7支部で唯一石黒支部長だけはボスの直属の部下。俺はなんて失礼を。殺される。
なんだ、具合悪いのか？
チーム会話。
オーラあるし間違いない。
Man, REIGEN just knows how to play everyone, bro.
本部からボスがお越しになりました。
なんだって。来るのは来月になると言っていたのに。
お、今なんか隠れたな。
なんですと。侵入者か脱走者だ。捕まえろ。
はい、子供に乱暴はよせよ。
すいません。
やっぱりあなたがボスなんですか？
いや、そんな大したものじゃないんだが。
大物は子供に威張らないんだ。
Oh my god.
少しは話が通じそうだな。僕たちいきなりさらわれてここに監禁されてたんです。
お前らそんなことしてたのか？
だってボスの指示で。
人のせい。
Dude, this is so ridiculous.
誰かに指図されたからって下道をかましていいわけないだろうが。下っ端気質も極まるとただのカスだな。
俺たちはボスを信じて。
お前らそんなんでトップに立ったところで自分たちが踏み荒らしてきた汚い景色しか残らないぞ。マナーを守った上で頂点取るから気持ちいいんだろうが。反省して改めろ。
俺たちはなんて小さいことを。
すげえ、一気に形勢が変わった。
Oh man.
ボスはちょっと違うな。
God, REIGEN is something else, man.
何動かない方がいいよ。奴らは必ず様子を見に来るはず。
I wonder how this rune works. Kind of reminds me of Sea Prism Stone in One
力が
Piece.
戻った瞬間が勝負だ。弟君、君も戦力に数えていいんだよね。
兄さんたちを巻き込んだ僕が悪いんだ。少しは頑張りますよ。大丈夫かな。
おいおい、僕なんかやり殺されかけたよ。
来たか。
No way.
た大人数でゾロゾロと。
よモブ。
Mobu.
こんなところで何やってんだよ。
何者なんだあんた。影山兄弟と知り合いなのか？
ボスに生意気な口を聞くな。ボスだと。
師匠がここに。
影山君の師匠。しかもそのボス。でもチャンスだ。
なんで閉じ込めてんだよ。
それは
なんでこれで。
一応機密事項です。
Top secret.
お前らな、それ犯罪だろ。
Like Claw is in an organization that commits crimes.
勘違いさせたの。
とりあえず帰るぞ。
助かったのか。
せめて石黒支部長が来るまで。
There they are.
先に名乗れよ、犯罪集団だ。
超能力結社爪第7支部長の石黒で、君は
今世紀最大の霊能力者レーゲン新高様だ。
我々のボスなんじゃ。
語るといえど私を差し置いてボスだなんて極刑。
何言ってんだこのチビ。てめえなんか少林寺拳法緑帯の俺様がちょいの気象。え、何これ。
霊専門の師匠は下がってて。
A spirit specialist.
支部長。角度だと 俺たちまで死んでしまいます。
知らないよ。君たちのボスはその男なんでしょ。
お前ら部屋に隠れてろ。ビッグになるならこんなところで死んでられないだろ。
Oh, dude, is Reagan literally gonna change to their side?
だって人はつうか俺も行くけど。
Uh-oh.
君たちは逃がさないよ。
Man, we're about to get a big fight.
モブ以外の超能力者なんてマジでいたのかよ。
He doesn't even know there's other espers, bro.
影山君頼む。
Molbit. Come on, man.
あの子は強いね。私がやるよ。多分まだ自分より強い能力のに。
Ooh, is he actually stronger than him?
残念ながら君は私の
I've been wondering when Mob is gonna meet someone who was actually as strong as him with psychic powers.
モブ何やってんだ。師匠。
私の力に耐えるなんてなかなかやるね。重力上げてみようか。
Anti-esper shot.
能力者に対して思いっきり飛び蹴りをかます
Another special move.
必殺技で
No fucking way, dude. Reagan
お
MVP.
前こんな奴らと超能力で争う気か。危なくて人に向けるもんじゃねえって話したよな。ルール破るのか。
そんなルールを決めてたのか。
僕を助けるために仕方なかったんだ。
モブお前そんなに追い詰められてたのか。辛かったな。こいつは人との対立が大の苦手なんだよ。こんな不器用で気持ちがへこみやすいガキをいじめるってのは見てて気分が良くねえな。弟子に余計なストレス溜めさせんじゃねえ。お前らな、教えていいか。人を傷つけてはいけないんだぞ。
飛び蹴りはいい。
But drop kicks there.
ただし一時保護者の義務としてこいつらに喧嘩はさせない。俺が相手してやる。なるべく平和的にな。
Pacifist Reagan over here.
見せてやるよ俺の催眠術。この五円玉を見るがいい。
おかしい。奴から何も感じない。
He throws them off so much because he's not actually a psychic.
もしはったりなら危険だ。
お前はこれを見ているうちに
相手をいきなり殴
Oh
る。
my god, dude.
全然特殊能力者な
He's
かった。
actually pretty strong physically, though. He's taking him out with one hit.
銃ガン。この剣はプラスチック製のおもちゃだが、
Ooh,
長年台頭し呪いをかけ続けることによって威力を持つようになった。
that's pretty cool. It's like a cursed object.
私の育てた悪霊ちゃんズ、あなたにどうにかできるかしら。いや聞けよ。
幽体術。俺は自由自在に幽体離脱をし、さらにそれを分身させることができる。
ちょっと怒っちゃおうかね。
Oh shit, dude.
散らばる重力に引っ張られてバラバラになるといいよ。
一発殴って動揺している間に説得しようと思ったのに怒らせただけだった。
レンゲンには言説で論破する自信があった。どんな相手でも言い争いでも
Yeah. He's very tricky.
だがそれは相手が大人に限っての話。中学生相手にムキになって襲いかかるこの輩どもは世界征服とか本気で主張しちゃっているこの連中は大人になれなかった子供だ。
死ね。
Oh no.
ブラックホールに吸い込まれるのはごめんだが加減ミスって体引き裂くな。
Damn.
超能力で消し飛ばせるのか。
やってみろ。
お届け。
Oh, little brother. He's calling him little brother too. See some cool fighting now, man. Look at this. Let's go, Taru.
よくかわしたな。だが、その方がいいぞお前。
Yeah, for real.
悪霊だったら除霊できそうなもんだが。
朝礼できるならやってみるがいい。私の最高傑作ジャッジーちゃん、今日は甘えていいわよ。
相手するなモブ。
竹山君、全力を出してくれ。
やめろ。反撃はするな。ここは大人の俺が。
Bro, stop splitting him.
もう兄さんしかどうにもできない。そうだね、僕がやっつけないと。
ダメだ。やめろ。反撃するなモブ。
How do you expect to get out of here if you don't fight?
このままじゃ全員死ぬぞ。
逃げりゃいい話だ。
今こそあの時の力。
殺意のある相手に本気で対抗するなモブ。
リツ、花沢君、レーゲン師匠、みんなを死なすわけにはいかない。僕が本気で戦うしかないんだ。守るためにはたとえ相手がどうなったって。
やめとけモブ。お前が苦しくなるだけだ。嫌な時はな、逃げたっていいんだよ。
Man, Reagan's such an interesting character, man.
看板見てきたんですけど。
はいはい。なんでしょう。ってガキ君よ。
Oh, we're gonna get backstory for them?
何の用だ坊主。
僕、超能力者なんですけど、自分の力をうまく制御できない時があって怖いんです。
誰かにそう言ってこいって命令されたのか。
いえ、誰にも相談できなくて。お兄さんも僕と同じかもって思ったんですけど。
Dude, little mob's even cuter.
俺も若い頃はよく悩んだ。いいか、超能力を持ってるからといって一人の人間であることに変わりはない。足が速い、勉強ができる、体臭が強い超能力も単なる特徴の一つに過ぎない。個性として受け入れて前向きに生きていくしかないんだ。魅力の本質は人間味だ。いいやつになれ。以上。
また相談に来てもいいですか。
どうかな。俺も忙しいからな。とにかく今日は帰りなさい。うわっ、おい、やけ。おい、お前幽霊も見える。もしかして除霊とかできる？明日もこの時間に来い。
いいの？
力の使い方を教えて。師匠。
No. Oh my god, dude. What?
師匠。
Oh my god. No. Guys, it's not fair. All right, everyone, let's get in the review section for episode 11 of Mob Psycho. Right off the bat, I can't believe I thought that Reagan was actually the boss of Claw Organization. Of course, he somehow schemed his way into convincing all these Claw, subordinates that he's actually the boss, and he doesn't even have any idea of who this organization is, and he's still able to do it. He's an expert con man, Reagan. It's pretty freaking funny. But lots of really good things in this episode. You know, right off the bat, we get a really good flashback of Mob and Ritsu, I guess when they're on some kind of camping trip or something, and Mob is trying to lead the way and he keeps getting them lost or something, and Ritsu is able to get them out of the situation with his intellect once again, his smarts. Honestly, I thought the little fact that he gave about the directions with, moss really only growing where there's no sunlight, and that usually would mean that it's pointed north, I guess, based off of, where the sun rises and sets, it's least likely to be hitting the north side of the plants, which I had no clue about. I don't know if that's actually true. It sounds like it'd be true. Let me know if it's not actually a true thing, but I would imagine that that's actually a thing that you can use when you're out in the wilderness to find direction. But you can see the admiration in Mob's eyes in that moment of how Ritsu helps them get out of that situation, and it's very much paralleled that flashback in how Mob views Ritsu and Ritsu's strengths once again with, you know, when Mob wakes up in this little, I don't want to call it a prison, but the room they're in where they can't use their psychic abilities, and Mob automatically off the bat trusts that Ritsu will be able to get them out of this situation even though they can't use their psychic powers. This is perfect because Ritsu can do great things without his psychic powers. He doesn't need to rely on his psychic powers to do great things because he has the characteristic of being very intelligent and strategic and thoughtful. You know, once again, there's a really big theme in Mob Psycho about characteristics being characteristics. You know, whatever someone has that is their strength, whether that's psychic powers or brains or empathy or understanding people, whatever it might be, all of them are great in their own ways. None of them makes you more human than someone else, and none of them make you less human than someone else. And I really enjoyed that in this episode. And we see, you know, Mob and Ritsu have a moment together. I guess this is really the first time they've seen each other since their little confrontation, you know, around Ritsu's psychic abilities being awakened and him bringing down the bullies and using psychic powers against others. And obviously that Mob disagrees with that, but, you know, it still believes in Ritsu. And right away, you know, Mob just gives Ritsu a hug because he's happy that he's safe. He's just happy to see his brother. You know, not holding anything against him. Not gonna lie, that moment definitely made me emotional. I loved that moment. And you can see Ritsu's gratitude for that, right? You know, he wants to apologize, or he feels like he should apologize, but Mob understands him, right? You know, going back a few episodes where Mob could empathize with Ritsu and understand his plight in all of this, and Ritsu doesn't need to apologize because Mob already understands what he's gone through, and you can see how grateful Ritsu is for that. You can just see it in his eyes, right? How thankful he is. Really, really good moment. But that room is very interesting. You know, they can't use their psychic powers, and I guess it's been sealed by the sword scar. I think his name is Sakurai? Yeah, Sakurai. Very, very interesting that can happen. I'd imagine, you know, there was some kind of symbol on the ground, so I'd imagine it's some kind of a, you know, psychic ability where you can enchant a room or something to kind of repress other people's psychic powers. And it makes sense that Sakurai is the one who does this because we get a little bit more information that the sword he uses actually used to be a toy sword, and over time, you know, after cursing it for a long time and using it, it's become more of a deadly weapon. So maybe Sakurai's kind of specialty is cursing objects themselves and making them stronger. So either cursing that room or cursing the sword. It's very interesting. It really reminds me of Jujutsu Kaisen's cursed tools and how, you know, people use those cursed tools in various ways, and they have different power levels and everything. Very, very cool. There's definitely a lot of parallels between Mob Psycho and other animes I've seen, which has been really, really enjoyable. Let's talk a little bit more about REIGEN though, because his character was very, very interesting in this episode. We get a lot more of REIGEN, both in, you know, once again, coming in and being an excellent con man and just totally tricking all of the subordinates, you know, the weaker espers that are part of the Claw organization, completely tricking them into thinking that he's the boss, even though he has no clue what organization this is. You know, classic REIGEN, you know, that's one of his strengths, and they say that is that REIGEN's really good at persuading people. He knows how to persuade people, even when he doesn't even know the whole picture of something. He's extremely, extremely good at persuading people. And I just love how nonchalantly he does all this. It's not even like he gets stressed by it. You know, he even throws some moral jabs at all these guys, unlike the Claw boss probably would do, right? Where he's like, are you guys really coming after kids, holding them captive? He's like, just because someone gave you orders doesn't mean you should do that. You know, it's very, very, it was pretty funny just seeing him in action doing that. But it's interesting because after REIGEN frees Mob and all of them from the room that's repressing their psychic powers, and they confront the 7th Division Scars, we see a lot of REIGEN's moral guidelines come out a lot more, right? You know, as they're fighting and whatnot, REIGEN's the one trying to be the one to fight versus Mob and these other kids, you know, trying to stop them from having to fight. And it's kind of one of those things, there's a little bit of exposition on children versus adults, right? Like REIGEN, I think some of REIGEN's philosophy comes down to children should never have to be forced to fight. They shouldn't be cornered into having to defend themselves like that. You know, children are really the innocent ones, and adults that, like these scars, who are more evil or a little bit out of touch, I guess, they're really not adults. They're still children who haven't grown up. They're children who have been scorned or hurt themselves, that has caused them to stay repressed and then to probably express their repression in not so good ways, right? And I think REIGEN definitely has a little bit of a philosophy on that. And we even see that in the background of between him and Mob, when Mob first met him, and Mob goes to REIGEN to seek help, to seek someone who would understand his psychic powers because he's having trouble controlling them. I bet this was pretty shortly after the flashback that we got with him and Ritsu getting beat up by the bullies and Mob losing control. And we see, you know, REIGEN in that moment, you know, he's never actually met an Esper, but he encourages Mob to accept himself for his psychic abilities, to you know, to not really worry too much about it, to encourage him that he's just as human as everyone else, even though he has psychic powers, and that, you know, really all he needs to worry about is being a good person, being kind. You know, that's where true charisma comes from, is your kindness, he said. And I just think it's really interesting because REIGEN kind of has a lot of duality to him, right? Like he has a very strong moral code and helps the people around him, and is really a good guy in a lot of ways. But then on the flip side, his outward appearance and what he does in the world, it's very manipulative and con-like, right? He's using Mob for his business. He's tricking different people into, you know, thinking that he's helping them get rid of, you know, spirits or whatever it might be. And on paper, that he seems kind of like a shady, immoral character, but yet deep down, he's much more morally straight than most of the other people we've met in this world so far. And I just think it's really interesting that his character has that dichotomy. I'm curious about, you know, why he's leans so heavily into the con artist stuff. You know, maybe that's his strength as a character, right? Is the persuasiveness, and he knows how to, you know, kind of play people in that way. And it's something maybe that he accepts within himself and that he doesn't view as a negative thing or an immoral thing, because outside of that, he's extremely moral in his intentions. And we see that in the way that he helps Mob when the first time that they meet. And we see this to continue this narrative on keeping children away from fighting, in the scene where all the fighting breaks out and Mob and all of them are having to defend themselves, and Taruki keeps on trying to get Mob to unleash his power. He thinks that they can only get out of this through their power alone. They can't get away from these guys by running. Like REIGEN is trying to persuade Mob, saying that, hey, it's okay to run when things turn south, right? And he keeps telling Mob that he'll be the one to suffer in the end. And I'm assuming that he means that when he is forced to hurt people, he's going to be in pain from that emotionally. And I think that's so true. I mean, in general, being forced to defend yourself or whatever it might be, you know, being forced to use violence does impact you in the long term. It's not something that you can just rationally be like, oh, well, I was defending myself and I hurt somebody, you know, it's their problem. Sure, it was, you know, you were right to defend yourself, but it still impacts who you are emotionally, your identity, all these things, right? So I think REIGEN's really trying to protect Mob's innocence a lot, and these kids in general. I think a good example of someone who's on the opposite side is Taruki, right? Taruki recently had his perspective changed by Mob, right? And not leaning too far in your psychic powers, accepting them, but not letting that be your end-all be-all. And Taruki is somebody who has grown up very quickly. We see him living in an apartment on his own. He's very mature, especially now his perspective has been changed. He's probably someone who has faced a lot of pain and has had to grow up very quickly, and doesn't have the, you know, this mentor in his life that's helped shield him from pain or violence, right? It reminds me a lot of Attack on Titan, Sasha's father. You know, there's this whole narrative about keeping children out of the forest, right? You know, the forest is supposed to be a representation of kind of the sin of the world, I think, whether that be racism, war, violence, hatred, just, you know, you name it. There's so many different things that could be part of that, but it's really the adult world that needs to be the ones to deal with that, to keep children out of it so that we don't really corrupt them into the pain of the world. And there's other mediums of that too. Like in One Piece, in the Fisherman Island arc, there's a big narrative about racism and discrimination, and the whole narrative in that too was keeping children's eyes shielded from it, right? Not exposing them to our biases and discrimination against others, because usually people justifiably have you know, some kind of rationale to why they might discriminate against somebody else. You know, it's culturally, there might be, hey, these people did this other group of people did this to us at some certain point in time, and you kind of inherit the hatred, right? The pain. And if you can keep children away from that, then you let them just be human, and humans in their natural childlike state are usually much more naturally good than evil or sinful, right? So I really loved the kind of the narrative on Reigen and Taruki kind of clashing on this perspective. And I don't know where it's gonna go, because obviously Reigen gets slashed in the back at the very end, and I think Mob's gonna have to fight, but it's definitely been really, really enjoyable to see this kind of narrative being discussed a bit more here. One thing I did just want to mention as well is, once again, when the fights do break out in the show, the animation is freaking incredible. I love the animation style when the fights break out. It's so unique in itself. I'm gonna mention that each time, because I think it really needs to be praised how great and unique the animation style is. All right, let's get into character ratings. For the MVP category, most valuable player character, I'm gonna give it to Reigen this episode, even though, you know, last episode we gave it to him because he came in as the boss, and I kind of thought he was the actual boss. Even though he's not really the Claw organization's boss, he's still the MVP because he came in, convinced all the subordinates, freed up Mob and all them, and even delivered a couple of pretty heavy blows to the scars, which were really funny moments, by the way. Also, once again, I really enjoyed all the narrative on kind of like the pacifism versus, you know, using your power between Reigen and Taruki. Reigen's turning out to be an extremely interesting character. All right, best moment I'm gonna give to Mob and Ritsu, and, you know, when Mob sees Ritsu and hugs him and accepts Ritsu and doesn't need an apology or anything like that, and Ritsu's thankfulness and gratefulness to Mob, I just love that part. It definitely made me feel a lot, and it has to be my favorite moment of this episode, if not one of my favorite of the series, just based off of how strongly it made me feel. Funniest moment, definitely going to Reigen. Both of his drop kick and the and the hypnotic punch, really, really funny. Reigen's special abilities always are on the top of the list for funny moments, but I thought especially the Esper drop kick was hilarious. It came out of nowhere to me, and I was really surprised that he was able to land it. All right, y'all, I think that will do for this reaction and review. Really, really enjoyed this episode. One of the best of Mob Psycho so far. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about like Reigen's character and stuff. I'm super interested in it and would love to hear y'all's thoughts on him. I hope y'all had a really nice time watching Mob Psycho with me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.